Guys, welcome back to the 1885 show for your Preston North End pre-match warm-up. If you enjoy the content and you want to show your support, make sure you hit the big subscribe button, and whilst you're here, leave a like and give us a comment as well. The 1885 community is growing rapidly. Make sure you, any of Millwall fans you know are part of it, and get on board and show us your support. We're going to do our best tonight not to talk about Birmingham all day. I mean, it is there after the show, so we're all still buzzing from that. No promises from our end. Chances are it will come up once or twice. If you haven't watched the Birmingham post-match call down yet, make sure you check it out after this. It's on our YouTube channel. Myself and Harry, it's in my opinion a really good show. We enjoyed it. Obviously, it's a really big win, so make sure you get over there and you relive that Wednesday night victory over Birmingham. Join me on today's show to discuss all things Preston. We've got the familiar pair now of Dan and Harry. How you doing, boys?
All good, all good.
Yeah, all good, thanks.
Perfect. Right, let's not delay any longer then. Let's get into the show. Our first segment, the tale of the tape. It's a bit of a mixed bag here, to be honest with you. So, looking at the form over the last 5 games, we've got the clear edge there. We've won 3, drew 1, lost 1. Preston, on the other hand, won 1, drew 3, lost 1. That leaves us 4th in the form table, while Preston all the way down is 17th. But let's not get too carried away here. Preston are still well in playoff contention and are currently 9th in the league, 5 points off of 6th place Wrexham. So, by no stretch of Preston are a pushover. No mugs, they know what they're doing. Hit a bit of a dodgy run of form, but still a good side. Looking at the recent head-to-head in this fixture, a bit of a dull affair, to be completely honest with you. And it feels like it's a draw every time, and that does play out. In the last 5 games, we've won 1, there's been 4 draws, and we've lost none of them. Dan, if you were a betting man, mate, you'd bet on a draw, right? But where's your money going?
Yeah, no, there's obviously stats are saying it's a draw in the game, but I think just like you say, with the form we're on at the moment and obviously last night's result, I think the boys are going to be buzzing. I still think we'll come out on top. I think we'll win the game going into Saturday. Like I say, we've just amazing at the moment. Obviously, we've had a bit of a dodgy one-off against Portsmouth, but they made it up last night. Obviously it's got drawing all over it, but I still think we'll win.
No, John, mate, my gut feeling is the same. Harry, what about you, mate? Obviously Preston not in the best run of form, but they are still a tidy little outfit. What do you make of them stats, mate?
Yeah, I mean, they've got Paul Heckenbottom. He's a good Championship manager. And they're a bit like Millwall, very good, they're very well structured, they're very hard to break down kind of side. I've always known Preston to be sort of a tough place to go. I can't remember any memorable games against them other than the Fleming hat-trick. Was it Fleming hat-trick at the Deep Dale?
It was, yeah.
Preston score, and we got like 4-2. That's the only time I can really remember a Preston game. They're very, 0-0, 1-0s, and it's... Did Alan Campbell get an assist last year from Zian Fleming or something like that? Was that the year before? I think that was. I just thought,
it was the year before.
Yeah, year before. Yeah, Fleming wasn't even here last year, was he? And yeah, it's just it's a very boring game usually. But like you said, the form table don't lie. Apart from Portsmouth, we have looked good. We've been winning a lot of games. I'd fancy us to go there. I think it'll be tough. Don't you? I think when I said about Birmingham, I think it's going to be a rough 1-0 last minute. Preston would definitely beat that. I think. We've got the capabilities to win. I watched them Friday night against Blackburn last week. Was it last week, I think? They lost with about 2-3 minutes to go from a header from a corner. But Blackburn could have easily been 2-3-0 up before that. So if Blackburn are doing that, I know our record against Blackburn speaks for itself. But I fancy to go there. Yeah, I fancy to go there and win. But it'd be typical Millwall to get a draw there. I said to you earlier on the call down from the Birmingham game, I'd take 7 points from these next 3. And the draw being against Preston, I think we've got the potential to beat Hull, and I hope we are because I might be going there. And then Derby at home, I fancy us. So yeah, 7 points for the next 3, but I don't see why we can't go get 3.
No, Joe, you're right, mate. It does feel like a bit of a mixed bag, doesn't it? As I said, you've got the fact that we are, in theory, the form team goes in our favour, but then you look at, as we said, Preston are a good side. You can't sort of write them off, and the head-to-head just screams that this will be a boring 0-0 draw. But hopefully, the added quality we've got in the side these days, we have enough to get ourselves over the line. Right, moving on to our next segment. This is going to be the key matchups. So the first matchup we've pulled out is Ben Whiteman versus Billy Mitchell. Creatively, Ben Whiteman's one of the Championship's better centre midfielders, actually. He's got 4 assists to his name so far this season. And defensively, he more than holds his own. So he's a bit of an all-rounder. He actually, for me, profile-wise, feels very similar to a Billy Mitchell or Casper Denor, a bit of a Millwall-type centre midfielder. On the vice versa, for us, you've got Billy Mitchell, who's been fantastic in recent weeks. And we talk a lot on here about that midfield battle, right? I think this is the second game in a row we've spoke about the importance of winning that midfield battle. Billy's got to win this one, isn't he? For us to be able to get 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, the midfield battle is always key in any game. If you can win your 50s in the middle, break up play, get balls moving out wide or into the striker's feet, you're going to create more chances, which will then, hopefully, depending on who's playing up front for us, lead to more goals. So, yeah, I fancy Mitchell in that battle, to be honest. I think Mitchell is a very underrated centre midfielder at this level. I think he's someone that, if he's playing for a more glorified team than Millwall, probably getting a more plaudits than he actually does. And I think sometimes when you come through the youth, you're put on a throne. It was a bit like a Ben. He's better than Ben Thompson, but in that sense that when Ben Thompson came out, there's just that added pressure because he's Mr. Millwall and he should always, die and bleed on the pitch for us. And I think Billy Mitchell, maybe 2 years ago, I'd have said, Whiteman are sort of running ragged for 90 minutes. I think what Billy Mitchell's added to his game recently is that not only is he going to break up play, when he gets the ball now, he's going to make something happen with it or look to make something happen. If it's not on, may go sideways, backwards, whatever it needs to be. But he's now added that part of his game where he'll look for Aziz first. He'll look for Nedley out wide. He'll look into the feet of Coburn or the big Serb, whoever it is. And I think that's a big part of his game. I think Mitchell's, in my opinion, is our best centre midfielder. Last year, I would have said Casper Denor, but I think Mitchell this year's come on leaps and bounds, and I fancy him to win that battle quite convincingly as well. Just like I called with Aziz.
No, Joe, me too, mate. I don't. There's not many centre midfielders that I actually sit there right now and say I'd have him instead of Mitchell. I think Mitchell's work rate in there is. It's called the engine room for a reason, and he is Millwall's engine, and he just doesn't stop. Another battle we've picked out: Jordan Storey versus Josh Coburn. Storey's a big centre back, been good, also in good value for a goal this year as well. I think he's got 3 or 4. Looking at him, he actually strikes me as a bit of a Millwall type centre back. It's very similar to what I said about Whiteman. He's not fancy, nothing really to write home about on the ball, but he wins his headers and he wins his tackles. Statistically, he's up there in both of them metrics. Coburn obviously returned to the side against Birmingham and showed us exactly what we missed out on Portsmouth, and he was decisive in that win, particularly the first half. The way he's playing at the minute, I think I'd back him against any centre back in this league, to be honest with you. But Dan, how key is it that he can give us that vocal point up front?
Yeah, no, I think it's very key. As we all know, the way Coburn played last night against Birmingham, he was phenomenal. His hold-up play, even when he didn't have the ball, he was just running, trying to track down to get the ball and winning it back. But I say his key thing is his hold-up play, and he gets everyone involved, so we can obviously move up and, like I say, go out to Aziz or Nedley, or even if he has to pass it back to Denor or Mitchell, he gives us that threat and the extra help with the players going on the attack. Whereas if you had the big Serb, I think Storey would probably win the battles 9 out of 10 with him, because obviously we know Ivanovic is not strong at the moment, but with Ivanovic, you put the ball into the box and he'll probably score. So yeah, it depends what Alex Neil goes with. Me personally, I'd go with Coburn for the pure fact of he would probably be a nuisance for Storey. Yeah. And obviously Storey maybe make a couple of mistakes. And like I say, Coburn always seems to win the ball as well, even if it's on the floor or even in the air. So hopefully it'll be an advantage for us with Coburn up top.
Yeah, I completely agree, mate. And I actually think it's an interesting one, because I have no doubt that Ivanovic will have a role to play, whether that be coming off the bench or maybe even going back to that 2 up front. We talk about it a lot, right? How good that was for us last season. But I think you're right. I think you're bang on. Coburn's physicality, I do think, gives us an edge. And when you've got a big, dominant centre back, you've got to go and compete with them. We did it against Portsmouth, and that was half the problem. So hopefully we'll stick with what we're doing, and we'll be more of Birmingham rather than the former. The final one we've picked out was Lewis Dobbin versus Tristan Kramer. So Dobbin this year, 7 goals, 5 assists. In terms of sheer output, that's actually not a million miles away from someone like Femi Aziz, and we know how good he is. Obviously playing slightly different positions, so it's not a one-for-one comparison. But you've got to be looking at Kramer, right, and saying he did a fantastic job against Birmingham on Stansfield, just completely nullified him on that centre-forward position. We're looking for him to do a similar job on the weekend, right, Harry?
Yeah, I mean, Tristan Kramer against anyone, I'm sort of always going to lean towards him. Lewis Dobbin's a very good player, a very, very good player at this level. He's someone that potentially I'd have been in for in the summer when we were looking at strikers and things. You know, I 100% at him. He's a very tidy striker, but you're coming up against the GOAT. You know, the Millwall Maldini, Preston Kramer, mate. You're gonna get put in row Z. I've said that now. You probably score the opener, and everyone's gonna clip that like 5 seconds up. But yeah,
I hope not.
I back Kramer to win any battle against any Championship player at this level, and yeah, it'll be a good battle. To be fair, I think Kramer will start centre back because I don't think we'll rush Taylor back based off of Lenny's performance last night. There's no need to. And it's more important that he'll be there for Hull. So yeah, Kramer at centre back, and hopefully it's a nice easy day for him.
Hopefully, mate. Dan, what's your thoughts on that, mate? Obviously, Tristan Kramer exceptional against Birmingham, and can be another test, very different test for him on the weekend.
Yeah, no, I agree with what Harry says. I have pure faith in Kramer in any play up against. Obviously, he had a bit of a blip against Portsmouth, but it's like I said, I don't mind him having a one-off game. You know what I mean? He's been phenomenal for us throughout the whole season. He's probably your go-to player straight on the sheet. But yeah, no, obviously, I think he'd be up for it. Anyone who comes at him, like I say, Dobbin is a good player. I think he's got a little bit of pace, but Kramer's proved that he's got the pace in him as well. So, yeah, no, we'll have to wait and see what goes. But I think the way Kramer was last night, I think he'd be up for it and take on anyone.
No, absolutely, mate. But they are our 3 8 and 85 key matchups to keep an eye out for on Saturday's game away at Preston North End. Moving on to our next segment. So this is the opposition under the microscope, where we're going to be looking at all the things Preston do well and some of the things where they don't do quite as well, and just trying to sort of see where Millwall could potentially win this game. So starting with where Preston excel, anyone that's watching this season, you can tell straight off the bat they're defensively solid. They're a solid competitive unit. Value their clean sheets, and statistically this plays out in the defensive stats. They do really well for their heading stats, tackling, interceptions and clearances. Just the raw fundamentals of defending, they're up there in all of their metrics. So this isn't going to be a game where we get many chances playing into that draw theory. And they're a good counter-attacking side as well. Their big chance conversion rate is actually one of the best in the league. Dan, it's almost the polar opposite of Birmingham in many ways, isn't it?
Yeah, what you've just said in the stats is like another Portsmouth.
Yeah, a little bit.
So obviously we know what they caused us, but yeah, it's going to be a hard one. But I think with the players that we've got, I think, and they're on their game like they were last night, I think they could break down any team. It proved that when they played last night. Yeah, so it might be a slow start, as the stat says. There's like 4 draws. It might be a slow start, but hopefully as the minutes go on, and we use the width and the Z's, and obviously the way Negley played last night, hopefully that can get in the goals quickly rather than a late one.
No, I completely agree, mate. Harry, what's your thoughts on that, mate? Obviously, they're defensively solid. We do traditionally struggle to break teams down, particularly if they have a bit of a low block. Any concerns there for you?
It's Preston. We always struggle to score many against Preston other than that 4-2. So, I'm expecting it's going to be one of them games where they have a bit of the ball, we have a bit of the ball, and it'll be a frustrating afternoon probably for both teams. What I do think we have a bit of an X factor in Femi Aziz. He will create a moment. We saw it last night. Most wingers, like we said in the cool down, aren't just hitting that on a half volley and putting that in the top corner. They're taking a few touches and trying to curl it in the bottom corner. So we've got that X factor in Femi that's going to be able to, they're already thinking, well, we need 2 men on him straight away. So that might free up Nedgley or Coburn or someone else potentially in the box. Yes, we're not going to have many chances probably because we never really do against Preston. But I do think man for man, we're probably a stronger team. And that's no disrespect to Preston. I think they're actually a very good and solid team. But I just think we'll have a bit too much for them. But the main point is going to be, just how well they defend, and I think this is where Coburn suits the game better than the Serb in this one, because I thought Coburn played excellent last night. But what he will do is he'll pull them 2 centre backs with him constantly, and he's going to lose a few in the battles. Of course he is. They're a good team, Preston. But what he will do is he'll be a nuisance, and that may free up runners coming on. I expect us to go there, go for 3 points, and hopefully I'm right, because I've been right already before. So
you have, mate. So yeah, hopefully you are right again, as you were against Birmingham. But looking at some of the areas where Preston do struggle, so despite what I called out of their actual chance conversion rate being very, very high compared to the rest of the league, their actual chance creation stats are nothing to speak of whatsoever. They're one of the lowest in the league for shots taken and things like that. So they don't create many chances at all, but they do tend to take the ones they do make. Another one that we sort of picked out, and it's a bit of a strange one, so bear with me. When you look at their running stats, they're actually one of the slowest sides in the league. They really struggle to get out because of it. And if you look across their side, there's not much pace, particularly out wide at all. A lot of it goes down the centre, and a lot of it's around sort of winning turnovers more than and set pieces, rather than being able to really attack teams, particularly out wide. I mean, in some ways, it sounds like I'm almost describing a Gary Rowett Millwall team, doesn't it? They're defensively solid, score their chances, don't create many, and no one can run. That is Gary Rowett Millwall. And Harry, how do you think this is going to play out, mate? 'Cause it does feel like it's going to be a bit of a potential tricky matchup for us.
Yeah, but if I'm Femi Aziz, I'm licking my lips. I'm going to put the ball in behind. Just put that ball in behind.
Yeah.
I'll burn them every single time. I think Preston are one of them teams. They're very Millwall-like in the fact they're very well organised. Like you said, Rowett's team, they're very well organised, well drilled. They won't give you 5-6 chances. We're going to have one or two maybe on Saturday. We've got to bury them. So we're going to have to be clear cut. I think if we go there with the expectation that we can roll over Preston, they'll kill us, because they have got players and they like to play through the middle. We spoke about Whiteman. They can play Preston when they get the ball. Yeah. I'm expecting it. I'm expecting a physical, tough battle. I think it's going to be whatever centre-backs are able to control the opposition striker the most is going to win the game. And that sounds very obvious, but sometimes you can get away with not actually being able to handle the striker. But if we man-mark Lewis Dobbin out of the game, then they have no other real outlet, because their wingers aren't that great, in my opinion. And then the same for us. If Coburn gets bullied and we get no service into Coburn, that ball's never going to go out wide, or it's never going to link up other players. So we're going to be pinned back. And I think it could easily be a game of almost 2 halves, where for one half they're pinned back and then we're pinned back. I think it's going to be very sort of back and forth game, where it's going to be you've got 1 or 2 chances, you've got to put one of them away. I can see it being 1-0 either way, and I'm just hoping it's going to be Millwall.
No, I don't disagree. I mean, Dan, what's your thoughts on that, mate? I mean, Preston tend to play a back 5, so they've got wing backs, which, in my opinion, always leaves teams a little bit vulnerable to out wide just through numerical advantages. What would you make of this matchup, mate?
Yeah, no, I agree with what Harry said. If I was the wingers like Aziz or Nedgley, I'd be thinking, oh, great. Because like you say, we've got such pace in our team now as well, which is unreal. And very often, because like you say, the last few years they've been very slow. Yeah, no, I would go down the wings more, obviously get Coburn involved and try and create that space for our wingers, or even our number 10, because obviously we forget that Langstaff last night was unreal. Even when he didn't even have the ball, just chasing it down like he was doing. So, and Langstaff's quite quick as well. So even he might never know. You might be able to get a goal on Saturday. It'd be a good one, I suppose.
Right. So moving on to our next segment, the tactics board. We've spoke about where Preston is strong. We spoke about where Preston struggle. we all know what Millwall are all about now. We've seen enough of Millwall to know where we excel. Tactically, boys, what do you think we need to do to win this one? Would you change anything from the Birmingham game at all? I mean, we don't want to go into your 11s too much yet, so don't give too much away. But system-wise, approach, would you change anything? Dan, start with you, mate. What do you reckon?
No, I wouldn't change anything. To be fair, I just think, like I say, if the stats saying that they're a slow team, we've definitely got to exploit that and get balls over the top and get the wingers involved and use it as an advantage. Obviously, meaning that we've also got, when the balls are getting whipped in, we've also got to get people in the box to get on the score sheet. You know, it won't be easy as everyone might think it will be. I still think if they're playing a back five, they will cause us a bit of problems, because as it happens, we always seem to struggle with them sort of teams who always sit back and allow us, if they let us, allow us to have the ball. So it could go either way. It could be good for us on Saturday with our pace, or it could be a slow burner and it could be like a 1-0, 2-0. But we don't know. We'll see what happens, I suppose.
No, exactly that, mate. And just on Dan's point, Harry, you kind of look at some of that, the logic behind that, of that you'd expect us to have a bit more of the ball than we normally do. There's a school of thought in there, right, that maybe someone like a Barry Bannon should come in. And then we spoke about pace on wide areas. Obviously, we played Camille Negley against Birmingham. Is there a temptation to maybe change that and put Watson in, just to add some more pace into the side? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you could. Yeah, Watson obviously is probably a lot quicker than Nesley. It's going to be one again. I think if we know we've got them in the legs run, I'd have us so much higher. You know, if we know that if they need to break and they're going to do it slowly, well, we can allow ourselves to be a bit higher up the pitch, and I would have them cornered in. Obviously, it's not going to work as perfect as that, but if they haven't got that quick outlet, then why don't we play on the front foot, play as if we're at the Den, and attack them that way? Like I said, we've got the players that can take on a man and beat a man. If they're going to play the back five, they're potentially going to leave themselves exposed in them left and right back areas. And as long as we can get bodies into the box quickly. The one thing we're kind of guilty of this a lot, and I don't remember the last person to really do it apart from when George Saville signed the first year back in the Champ. That person that runs in just on the edge of the box. Teams do it against us so many times. They cut it back. I remember it's always down the cold blow lower as well, that end. Teams will cut it back on the edge of the box. Someone runs in, they pass it into the bottom corner. We need someone just to do that, like a Denor or Mitchell, just to run in and put some shots away.
The old like Frank Lampard run back in the day.
Yeah, just make that run, and I just feel like we don't ever do that. And obviously, if they're going to play this back five, and we could say, you know, Aziz gets past his man, it's going to be potentially Coburn be 3 centre backs. Now I know Aziz can cross the ball well, but you're asking a lot of Coburn potentially to win that battle and also put it on target and then test the keeper at the same time and put it in the back of the net. So I'm just thinking, get Aziz down the line, bring it back, and hopefully then Billy Mitchell can put it in outside the stadium.
No doubt. I mean, I've got to say, mate, I think the player you described there almost sounds like that could be Casper Denor, and he has done this in the past. If you look
against Watford, weren't it? Watford away, and Maku done it, and he dragged it back. But we haven't seen that. We don't really see that much since. Why don't we get? To be fair, last night Kramer did it for Cooper, but that wasn't. Cooper's kind of already
slightly
in the box.
different. Yeah.
If you just have them players just run in, just take it, because in worst case scenario, like you miss it and it bounces off a few bodies and it drops to Coburn's feet 3 yards out. There you go.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do.
Again, it sounds easy, doesn't it? But you look at what Denor's done it twice actually away at Swansea, hasn't he? He's made that sort of late run into the box and got on the end of them. And I do think that is something. I've got to say, I completely agree. I don't think we commit enough bodies into the box. There was, I don't talk about it too much. We've moved on from that now. It was depressing. It was last week. But if you look at the Portsmouth game, there's several times where you're looking at the ball getting that wide and you're thinking, just Ivanovic by himself, and we can all sit there and slag him off and say he didn't do enough and all that, but the bloke was so isolated, just a lonely figure up there, and if you have one midfielder making that run, it's a different game, isn't it?
It pulls a different defender out. It pulls someone out of that area potentially, because they're now going to come and mark him. All of a sudden, Ivanovic or whoever it is has now got one less defender around him with that 3 or a 2, you know. Just it sounds easy. Like I said, it sounds easy on paper. I'm sure there's a reason why we don't commit that midfielder.
But I've noticed it a bit though. But it seems like Billy Mitchell is the one that goes more forward than Denor. Denor sits back a bit more.
Yeah.
Obviously, whereas before that, it used to be Denor going up and then Mitchell sitting back. So I don't know if it's something Alex Neil's told Billy Mitchell to do more, as he's told him to get into the box, like on the edge of the box more, and he's told Denor to sit back. But who knows? Like I say, we need someone on the edge of that box. It could be anyone, like I say, because we don't cut in enough. It's just literally a whipping ball, and hopefully someone either heads it on or gets a volley or some sort, you know?
It's a good observation, actually, mate. And I wonder if it's as simple as maybe Billy does it more because he's the younger man in that midfield who's got the legs to do it. And obviously, don't get me wrong, Denor's not old by any stretch. He's only, 29? But it does make you wonder why Denor has stopped doing that quite as much. But he then did score against Portsmouth, didn't they? So just to make a liar out of us. Right, boys, moving into our final segment of the show, we're going to look at our 11s and our score predictions. I think I'm going to go first with this one. I'm going to go unchanged because I thought we were so good against Leicester. If it's not broke, don't fix it, right? So Patterson in goal, right back, Ryan Leonard. He was exceptional the other day. Go and do it again, mate, for old time's sake. Centre back pairing, Tristan Crammer and Jake Cooper. I think I'm saying this in our post-match show after Birmingham that I'd actually think playing centre back maybe protects Crammer a little bit more, and obviously with Taylor potentially out and Crammer 1 yellow card away from a 2-match suspension, we need him protected. So I think that playing centre back actually supports him in that way. Left back, Zach Sturge. We spoke a lot about pace. He is rapid, so let's keep him out there. And again, he was fantastic midweek. Centre midfield, Billy Mitchell, Casper Denor. If that ain't broke, don't fix it. Right mid, Aziz, because he is absolutely electric. In the 10, again, do you know what? I never thought I'd be saying this when we started doing this show, and I've put him in my start 11 twice now. But Macaulay Langstaff in the 10, again, pace, energy, difficult to defend against, and he doesn't stop running, so keep him in the side. He played well midweek. Out on the left, Camille Negley. Up top, big Josh Coburn. I think we're going to win 2-0. I think it's going to be a tricky game, but I think it'll be 2-0 against Alex Neil's old side. Harry, what about yourself, mate?
Yeah, back forward keeps itself, isn't it? So, Patterson's going to be in goal. Lenny, Sturge, and then obviously Coops and Crammer. I don't see how you can change that. The only one change I'd make in midfield is I'd be tempted to put Bannon in just for a rotation reason. I don't think Denor's played badly by any stretch. I just think it's good to just get more legs, more minutes in the legs, shall I say. And last thing you want is Denor being fatigued. He came back off an injury. Last thing you want is him out again. Them two in there. In the three behind Coburn up top, I've kept it the same again. I wanted to go Nedgley, Langstaff and Aziz. I was tempted to put Watson in, but I thought Nedgley probably had one of his best games last night, so it's very, very harsh to drop him. So I've gone, basically same team. The only change I'd make is just Bannon, just to freshen it up in midfield a bit. Score, I'm going to go 2-1, but we'll be 2-0 up, and they'll score like a 90-second, squeaky bum time goal.
Just make it sense.
Yeah, we'll be comfortable. It'll be comfortable 2-0, and then they'll score. I'm hoping not getting too ahead of myself, but I expect us to win. I think if we've got any real ambition, we have to go and get something on Saturday. And that's no disrespect to Preston, because, like I said, they're fighting for what we want as well, playoffs. But you have to beat your teams around you. That's the main thing, isn't it?
No, and do you know what, mate? And Alex Neil said in this post-match, didn't he, that we got up to win every game of football. So let's take him on his words and we show for the win. So hopefully we do get it over the line. Dan, last but not least, mate, what's your start 11 and what's your score prediction?
Yeah, no, I'd go with Patterson in goal. Obviously, like I say, he made a great save last night. No need to change it. The back four, I'd stick the same. I think this game, I think, might be good for Ryan Leonard as well. I think this is the sort of game he really enjoys, like the tackles go flying in and like
physical games.
Physical game. He suits that style, Leonard. Obviously, my midfield, I wouldn't change it. I'd have Denor and Mitchell as well. And then on your right, I'd have Aziz, and then on the left, I'd Negley, and then number 10 with Langstaff, and obviously Coburn up top. I think, obviously, like I say, we had a great game last night. I think you shouldn't change it on the winning side of things. Obviously,
Yeah.
you could, if Alex Neil was thinking about it, maybe, which would be a bit harsh on Langstaff, is taking him out, put Negley as the number 10 and have Watson out on the left. Maybe that might.
Yeah, potentially.
But I still think it'd be a bit harsh on Langstaff, but I would keep it as it was from last night's game. And I'm going to go for an optimistic 4-0.
4-0.
I reckon 4-0. I know it's a...
You've got right carried away after that last game, mate. You need to sit down. What's going on?
Yeah.
10-0.
Yeah, no. I reckon, no. I know it sounds funny, but no, I reckon 4-0. I reckon Coburn's going to be on the score sheet. Aziz, I'm going to go with... No, Coburn 2, actually. Aziz 1, and I'm going to go with Langstaff.
We started this show to talk about how this is one of the most boring games in the EFL and it's always a draw. And we're going to finish it with Dan predicting a 4-0 away victory. I love that. If it happens, you've got to put a bet on that now, because if it doesn't happen, you'd be gutted.
Yeah. Imagine me putting a bet on and have all them scores and it will come in as well. Cool. Imagine the odds on that. Come Sky Bet. Tell us what.
Yeah. Always bet responsibly. Yeah. Right, boys. Before we sign off, any final thoughts from yourselves? Harry, we'll start with you, mate. Anything to sign off on?
Just let's go win. Let's go win on Saturday. If we do, the post-match reaction, I'll be having a glass of red wine during it. Drink responsibly, big boy.
That's fancy, mate. Red wine.
Yeah,
it's not very Millwall.
A bit of Merlot, you know. Yeah, and then that'll suit me up nicely for a whole away. So yeah, 3 points, please, and that's all I want.
Spot on, mate. Dan, yourself, any final thoughts?
Yeah, just go out there, play like we did last night, and show everyone what we're capable of and why we're in the position where we are in the league. Yeah, just get 3 points and come on, your Lions.
No, I couldn't agree more, mate. Right, boys, this has been your pre-match warm-up for Preston North End away. If you've enjoyed the content, please make sure you like, share, subscribe, help spread the word about the 1885 show. Thank you once again for tuning in. This has been the 1885 show. See you on the next one.